Hello everyone and welcome. We're going to be talking about shame today. First off, before I get into anything else, why? Why are we going to talk about something like shame? And I wanted to bring this up because once again, this inspiration to talk about this topic. Again, it was totally unplanned. I had something else on my agenda to record. But this kind of came up, and I know that that's how my guides communicate with me. That's how they direct me and guide me to provide the content for anyone that can benefit from this. And shame is such an important emotion to understand when it comes to our healing, when it comes to having self-love. And we often don't know what it is. We grow up hearing things like shame on you, or you should be ashamed of yourself, and we know that it's something bad, but we don't really understand, when we're adults, what is shame and how does that manifest and why should we care? Well, the reason why we need to care is because shame is oftentimes this deeper level of emotion that is underneath all these other surface emotions. It's underneath self-sabotage. It's underneath anger and especially rage. It is underneath any kind of self-harming behavior, anything that we do to punish ourselves. It's underneath low self-esteem and low self-confidence. Shame is the most dangerous emotion. Shame says, I am bad. Shame is a focus on the self, on the quality and character of the self. It's not a focus on a behavior that maybe you made a mistake and you caused some problem and saying, I did something wrong. Shame says, I am wrong. I am a mistake. I am bad. So if we grew up with abuse, if we grew up with dysfunction, if the adults in our home were not healthy and they had a lot of fear and they had these mind viruses that they passed on to us, this pain and this poison, these wounds that they had that they haven't healed and they passed them on to us, we absorbed it from them and now we carry it. And that's just how life goes, and then we have to heal it. So shame looks like this. We might have heard these things growing up. As I mentioned earlier, we may have heard, shame on you. You should be ashamed of yourself. You may have heard things like, you're so spoiled. Oh, you spoiled brat. God is punishing our family. God is punishing us as a family. And what we don't understand is when we hear these messages as children, we don't have the mental capacity and the emotional maturity to understand what that means. All we know as, when we are 8 or when we're 10 or when we're 5 is that there's something that you did wrong and there's something bad about this situation on a very deep and fundamental level. The people who are your caretakers, whom you are supposed to trust and love unconditionally because they are providing for your needs, all of a sudden that bond and that support, that foundation becomes threatened. I am bad. Shame on you. You're so spoiled. You spoiled brat, you. So what do you learn from hearing these messages over and over and over? This programs your subconscious. So when we hear things about self-hypnosis or reprogramming the self-conscious, our subconscious is running the show of the outward expression of our life. So we may consciously think, I love myself, I love who I am, I accept myself, but the tape that is playing is, I'm not worthy, no one would ever like me, I'll never make it, I'm a loser, I'm stupid, I'm fat, I'm ugly, my life will never change. It's always going to be like this. That self-conscious tape, that litany of thoughts that is just putting you down, that's full of negativity, that's full of self-doubt, that's that does not believe in yourself, that is what is running the show. And that is your self-conscious that got programmed by repetition. And that's why we talk about reprogramming the self-conscious, and how we reprogram it is by repetition of things that are healthy, things that uplift you, and things that serve you. So if you grew up with all these things about shame on you, you should be ashamed, you're not good enough, what we felt from those messages, what we inferred from those words of shame and being spoiled or whatever, being punished whatever it was, we learned, I'm not good, I'm not good enough, I have to try harder, and then maybe I'll be enough. I need to be perfect, and then I'll be enough. Things have to be hard. Life has to be a struggle. My relationships have to be hard and also a struggle. I have to work for love. I have to prove myself to get love. I don't deserve to have money. I don't deserve to have financial or career success. I have to work really, really hard to get whatever money I can get. That's the programming. That's the manifestation, the result of shame. Do you see what I mean? When we grow up with these messages that you are not deserving, you are not worthy, and it's a complete and total lie. It's coming from a place of fear. It's coming from a place of disempowerment, because the people who taught you those things, they didn't know any better. They felt disempowered, so they couldn't teach you how to be empowered and to believe in yourself and how to trust the universe and trust that you were being taken care of and that everything would work out. They passed on to you that same limiting belief that they knew, and that was that you aren't enough, there isn't enough, there's lack and there's scarcity. And you cannot trust, and you better be in fear. These are mind viruses that we can heal. The first thing to do is to recognize that voice and call it out for what it is. That's shame. I see it now. When you start to get into that downward spiral, maybe you had a fight with your partner. Maybe you made a mistake, something you were working on at work. Maybe it's something that came up between you and one of your kids. And what you do is you beat yourself up. And that litany that you know so well, that laundry list of negative self-talk blows up. And it comes at you. I'm stupid. I'm fat. I'm ugly. I'm not worth anything. I'm a horrible parent. I'm a horrible spouse. Whatever it is. Call that for what it is. When we don't call it out and name it, and naming it will disarm it. Naming it will reduce the strength. But when we don't do that, here's what happens. We kind of say, well, screw it. I don't care. I hate myself. I don't deserve to live. I'm just going to be, over in my kitchen with a jar of peanut butter and a spoon. I don't care if I trash myself, or drowning myself in alcohol, or escaping in whatever way you want to escape in. You want to numb out. You want to hurt yourself. That is what shame does. That is why it is the most dangerous emotion. When we feel anger, take it down one step and go into rage. Out of control rage. What is underneath that rage? It's not just that you're angry. It's a cover emotion. Go one step deeper. Powerlessness, inadequacy, ineffective, victim, shame. So when we kind of peel back the layers, shame is at the root of all this. If we want to binge eat because we are so full of self-disgust for whatever reason, and we just want to pig out and just say, screw it, I can't do it, I'm horrible. You want to punish yourself. What are you feeling right then? And if you can get in touch with what is, go layer, and you may say, I don't know, I have no idea what I'm feeling, who cares? Sit with it for a moment. Go one emotion to another, to another, to another, until you get to the bottom. And what is usually at the bottom of any kind of self-punitive behavior is this message, deeply internalized message of shame. I am bad. I don't deserve to live. I don't deserve to be here. I don't deserve love, so I'm going to hurt myself. I'm going to mark myself in some way. I am going to take it out on myself. I am the punching bag, and I am the one doing the punishing. This has to stop. And it stops when we begin to name that emotion. Call it for what it is. That doesn't mean the feelings go away, but it will take them down several notches when we can say, I'm in a whole lot of shame right now. And when you can identify that emotion and let yourself feel it, when we run to our nearest when we run to our nearest escape route, whatever that is for us, whatever way we want to numb out, whichever way we want to punish ourselves, when we can sit with that emotion, that's where the healing happens. That's when we start to overcome. That's when we break the cycle. It's not easy, but you can do it. It can seem that those feelings are so strong that you don't want to feel it. You don't want to, be with it at all. But I promise you that you can handle it, and that those feelings aren't as scary as they seem. So once you sit with it, you begin to heal because you're not running from it anymore. You're allowing yourself to be present with those feelings. You are meeting yourself, your inner child, in that present moment and seeing it for what it is. Years and years and decades of pain, decades of wrong messages, decades of internalized self-hatred. And that is what drives so much of our self-destructive behavior, and why all the affirmations in the world won't work if we don't address that underlying voice, that inner critic that is so loud at times. So call it for what it is and realize where it comes from. Realize that it's not true. And love yourself through every minute of that process. When you call it for what it is, it means you're stepping outside of it just a little bit. I'm in shame right now. I'm feeling really bad about myself right now. Okay. And just let yourself be present with those feelings, and they will move. They will clear out. It's when we run from it and when we jump into wanting to hurt ourselves or whatever our way is of numbing out, that's when we make it stronger. That's what feeds it and reinforces it. That secrecy. And we have to take that cloak of secrecy off and turn the light on it. So this is very deep, and I want to talk about this because this is at the root of so much. Tapping can help you heal and get to that root. That is something that is really, really helpful. And notice what is the litany? What is that inner critic saying? And when does it come out? What are the triggers? It's all part of getting to know yourself, of bringing to your conscious awareness those hidden aspects of yourself. And when you turn the light on those parts, they will begin to heal and soften, and they won't be as loud. And it takes a lot of effort and attention. I really hope that this has helped, and I give you such a big hug for facing this. It's not easy. This stuff runs really, really deep, but healing is possible. And because you're watching this, I give you so much kudos for showing up and working on yourselves. This is how we love ourselves. This is how we become our own best friend, how we enjoy our own company, and how we heal and stop letting this old stuff run our lives. There's something better out there waiting for you, and you have to just claim it and own it and step into a place of being empowered. That's who you are. That is your true self, is when you are empowered. that is love. That is love for yourself. All right. Thank you so much. Take good care of yourselves. Be well, and I will see you in the next video.